All right, you guys. Happy Sunday. It's so good to see your faces. So we're going to start out this call with, oh, I don't even necessarily think it's tough love, but just some truth for you because I had some personal experiences this week that I need to share with you and share what I learned from them. And I'm going to be sharing some stuff, but also reading some excerpts from um, a book. So I will do both of those. Good night, Mari. All right, so I'll kind of share a tidbit of what happened to me last week, and then Alina is going to follow up with some really good, like, tactical strategies, I guess is the right word, to follow up. So another reason that I wanted to bring this up is because I feel like a lot of you have been coming to me saying, I have these big goals. I want to hit Success Club. I want to rank advance. I want to grow my business. I want to help people. And the biggest thing holding you back is your fear of inviting people to join you to do this. And I just want to tell you right now, if people don't do this with you, you won't do any of those things that you want to do. It's kind of the nature of what we do, is helping people reach their goals, which helps you reach your goals. So we have to get over that fear of, oh my gosh, what is so-and-so going to think when I send them this one question? Have you ever thought about joining one of my accountability groups? So you guys, there are two people in this world. There are the non-judgmental people and jerks. There are no in-betweens. You are either non-judgmental or you're a big jerk. So when other people's expectations start to dictate your actions, that's when you begin to feel lost in your life. Because you're like, okay, I really have a passion for doing X, Y, or Z. And it doesn't even have to be coaching, you guys. It could be you want to knit the longest scarf in the world and be in the Guinness Book of World Records, but Sally down the street thinks you're a complete nut job. And so you don't do it. Like, you're going to start to feel lost because your heart is telling you to do one thing, but your neighbors are telling you to do something else. And then you're in this like space where you don't really know what you're supposed to do with your life because you're listening to everybody else's opinions. So we cannot give power to those people because it's not their life. So hold on, I'm going to read a little paragraph because sometimes authors have a way of just being really good with words, which is why they sell books. All right. Let me find it here. All right. It doesn't matter if your neighbor is right. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or believes. The idea, the dream, the goal is my own or your own. The second I start looking for other people to validate it, I begin to lose steam and momentum. When you're in the early stages of an idea or goal, like starting a new business with Beachbody, you are the most insecure, which means you are easily swayed by what other people might think or believe. You're most easily talked out of your idea you might have loved or into an idea you might regret when you allow other people's opinions to color your plans. So when I was a brand new coach, that is totally, totally true. I was swayed by so many people's opinions. I would get a negative response from an invitation and I would just sink back into my comfort zone and be like, okay, maybe I should tone it back a little bit on this whole like business thing because it seemed to really offend that girl. Like, what am I doing wrong? When really 4 years into this, I am now realizing that it had nothing to do with me and everything to do with the crappy day that that girl was having, and she received my positive energy as negative. So just this past week, I had a very intense negative reaction to an invitation. And I know a few of you on this team have also had a very negative response to just asking me a simple question. Have you ever thought about joining one of my groups? And this girl wrote me like a 10 paragraph, just terrible note about how she has no respect for me, no respect for what I do. And I know this girl in real life, we're not super close friends, but went on and on about how if I really cared about her, I would have known that she had a C-section 3 weeks ago and she can't work out. Whoa. Wow. I had to like sit in my feelings for a second, and I had a flashback to when I first started. And if I would have gotten a message like that, it would have crushed me, probably almost to like not be a coach. Okay. Now let's imagine that happened. And then 4 years from now, this call where I'm looking at all of your beautiful faces is not happening. You cannot let somebody's terrible, no good, very bad day ruin your positivity and joy and wanting to simply help people. That girl has a lot going on, maybe some postpartum depression. I don't know. That was totally uncharacteristic of her from what I know of her. But I don't own those feelings because of amazing personal development like this. Okay? So just know that you are going to get people that have a bad day and they're going to respond negatively to you, but it has nothing to do with you, because for every negative comment, I have 10 more girls saying, oh my gosh, I feel like you literally saved my life by sending me that message 3 months ago, because I feel like a totally brand new person. And those make it worth it. Those make you realize that this is not about pleasing everyone. It's about getting out of your comfort zone so that you can help pull somebody else up out of their muck. This girl was in a lot of muck and she decided to throw the muck at me instead of receiving it the way that I was intending to give it. Like I was extending a hand. Have you thought about it? Okay, back on track. So being trapped under the weight of other people's opinions is a choice, and it's a habit that we can absolutely break. So there are two kinds of negative opinions. There's real negative opinions, like what I just experienced last week, and then there's hearsay, the stuff that we make up in our heads, right? We make up so much crud that we think people are thinking about us that has absolutely no truth to it. We tell ourselves this story and we work up like, oh, this girl saw my message and she's not responding because she's super annoyed with me, when really she probably just got distracted and put her phone down and then forgot to respond to you. Like we can't like create this story, and it's always negative, right? It's never like, oh, Susie just, she forgot to message me, but oh my gosh, you guys, I've followed up with those people and been like, hey, I know life gets busy. I just want to make sure you saw my last message. And they're like, oh, I totally forgot to message you back. And how many times have you forgotten to do that to somebody? You read a message and you're like, I'll totally respond to this later when I have more time. And then it gets buried in your Facebook Messenger. You guys, it happens all the time. Stop creating these negative stories that aren't even true, that have no merit. Okay. So let's say something real negative gets said to you, like what happened to me. Two different things from that. It can either be done in a thoughtful and kind way, which did not happen to me. It still doesn't mean that you have to take that person's advice, because if it is something that you really want to do and you're like seeking someone's advice on like a big life decision, you still don't have to take their advice, even if you know, love, and trust them. If somebody says something hurtful to you, like what happened to me, it flat out has it has no place in your life. You just need to bless and release it and be like, this girl, I'm going to pray for her because she just spewed a lot of hate on me and has nothing to do with me. So to recap, I will wrap this up, I promise, but all right. So to recap, we've got two kinds of negative substantiated opinions. The first comes from a place of love. So you're going to be a grown-up and consider it, but not accept it as gospel truth unless it feels right to you. The second isn't meant to be helpful, but destructive, and therefore you should reject it. Reject it. Don't let it be considered, discussed, absorbed, or given one single particle of oxygen to help spread that fire. Any opinion not presented in love should not be considered, period. Period. A freaking men. Okay? So Tess has an awesome question. She just put in the chat privately to me. She says, how do you respond to something like that? So how did I respond to her? I will tell you exactly what I said to her. Because I wasn't going to fuel the fire. I wasn't going to get defensive. I wasn't going to any of that. I'll tell you exactly what I said. So let me find her message. I said, I wish nothing but the best for you. Thank you so much for messaging me back. And again, I'm truly sorry for making you feel any negative feelings, as that was never my intent. Send. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to fix whatever mental health issues she's struggling with right now. And I simply apologized for the way that she felt and that I had any negative feelings to give to her. And I'm just going to move on. Like, she's definitely not someone I want in my accountability groups right now. Like, that's not, she definitely told me and showed me that this is not somebody that I need to be helping right now. And could she have handled it better? Yeah. But I'm literally honestly going to be praying for this girl because I know her in real life, and this is not typical behavior for her. So there's something going on. Yeah. So that's how I responded. Just apologize and be like, totally sorry that came across that way. That's not at all what I intended. Hope you have an awesome week. And then you send another invite, because there are people out there who are needing a lifeline in the community to be plugged into. Okay. And then I have one final thing, and then I'll let Alina share her good stuff. Okay, so this is about the stories that we create, the hearsay stuff, because I feel like, honestly, this is the one thing that holds us back from sending invitations, is the imaginary stories that we tell ourselves about what the person on the other end of the message is thinking, when we truly have no idea. Okay? Perhaps you're pretty sure your mother-in-law disapproves of you, or you're almost positive that your cousin Crystal's snarky comment on Facebook was aimed in your direction. Maybe you know for a fact that the girls you went to high school with, who you now know only through social media, would make fun of you if they saw you trying to do something new. In all of those instances, none of these negative opinions have actually substantiated, and therefore you're really just sabotaging yourself. Nobody has said anything. Nobody has done anything. Maybe your new mother-in-law does disapprove of you, and maybe she just misses her son and feels anxious about how she'll fit into your life. Maybe your cousin Crystal was aiming that comment in your direction, but you and I both know that Crystal is the worst. She used to give you titty twisters. This is the person whose opinion you're going to worry about. The irony is, most of the time, nobody is actually thinking about you. Nobody actually cares what you're up to. And if they do, they're not judging you or making fun of you behind your back. It's not like you hang out with a bunch of ogres, right? And if they do dislike you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But more than that, assuming that someone thinks the worst of you when you have no real evidence to back that up isn't about them, it's about you. You're letting their opinion control your life, and you don't even know if they really have that one. It's all in your own thoughts. You are wrapping it up and blaming it on other people so that you don't have to take responsibility. The truth is, it doesn't matter what they think of you. It matters what you think of you. Hard as it is to reconcile, somebody else's opinion only holds power over you if you allow it to. If you actively take steps and intentionally begin living without obsessing over what other people think, it will be the most freeing decision of your entire life. I have goosebumps all over my whole body right now, you guys. I cannot tell you how you can take your business from 0 to 100 if you figure this out, because every single girl that I've talked to on this team that wants to be further along than they are worries about what other people are going to think, worries about what people will think if they post an overwhelmingly smiling selfie with like 2 sentences underneath it, or worried about just even saying that you have an accountability group for people to join, or we're just so worried when our bravery, our vulnerability is what inspires other people to take a leap of faith and just change their life. Like, the negative Nancys and the people who are like taking offense to simple things, those aren't our people. And you bless and release them, and then you send another invite, because there is a girl out there who needs this, who is literally feeling so lost, sitting in her living room, watching TV, drinking wine, eating cookies, and being like, what am I doing with my life? And all of a sudden you show up in her inbox like, hey, I love you. You are my friend. And I am doing this thing that's changing my life, and I want to know if you want to do it with me. That could save someone's life. Truly. So get over your stupid insecurities and just go after this, because there are women out there that need it. Done.
Boom, there it is. Love that so much. It's so true. There is no wrong way to send out a life raft. If someone is out there drowning, you're not going to dance around and be like, oh, I just don't know. Should I throw it? Should I give it to them? I don't know what they're going to think. You would throw the freaking raft to them. So we've just got to stop overthinking it and just get after it. So I love that, Andrea. Good stuff. Okay. So I want to share a few things from James Clear. Has anybody read his book, Atomic Habits? Nobody? Okay. I haven't read the whole thing yet either. But he is going to be one of the speakers at Summit this year, and I cannot wait to hear from him because he has a really different outlook, and I don't know what specifically he's going to talk about when he's there, but in his book, Atomic Habits, he has a different perspective on how to go after our goals. So if you have a pen and paper, write this down, okay? He says, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, okay? You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So a lot of times, you guys, the word system scares us because it seems overwhelming. It seems like, oh my gosh, like a lot of work, like how are we going to put systems in place? And if you've been a coach for very long, you've probably heard top coaches talk about they have systems in place that make it duplicatable for their team. And it just seems like, whoa, I don't know if I could build a system. It seems complicated, but it's not, you guys. We have to dumb down this idea of systems. It's literally the routines that we put in place. So I want you to think about your system of getting ready to do your workout. Okay, so what does your routine look like? For me, my alarm goes off, I turn off my alarm, I go to the bathroom, then I go and I already have my stuff set out on the counter, my Energize and my Hydrate. So I take my 2 cups, I take them to the fridge, fill one, fill the other, shake them up. Then I go downstairs and I push play on my computer, right? So that is my routine. That's my system around getting myself to my basement to get my workout on. There's, step 1, step 2, step 3, it's very systematic. That is a system that I have in place for myself to be successful with being proof that the product works. Okay, so looking at systems in our businesses that are going to help us be successful, these could look different for every person. So basically, we want to focus on the routines and the actions and the habits that we're creating in our day-to-day business that's going to get us to our goal and beyond our goal. Because especially as we're kind of looking at like this upcoming diamond retreat, you know, a lot of people are pushing for diamond on the team right now, or whatever rank it is in the business that you're pushing for. Once you get there, it's like, okay, we're going to celebrate you. It's going to be awesome. You're going to, you know, advance your pay to that level. But then what? Then you're at the goal, and that's not the end all. The end all, you just keep pressing forward. But the only way to do that is if you have something beyond the goal, right? And that is where systems come in place, because those are going to be what continue to propel you from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level in your business, in your life, in your health and fitness. Every goal that you're looking at achieving is going to start with the routines that you're putting in place. So the goal with this, you guys, is to win the majority of these habits or routines. So it doesn't mean that every single day has to be perfect in order for you to be successful with it, but it means that you win the majority of them. So if you're looking at your week, it means that, okay, something might come up tomorrow. I might have a family emergency. One of my kids might get sick. I might not have the time that I was thinking I was going to have to pour into my business. I may have, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. Everybody's different, right? So that's okay. It's not going to derail me forever. As long as tomorrow I win my day and I win my habits and I win that routine, and I don't let it be a continual fall off the course, right? So win the majority of the time and your systems will play out successfully for you. So you can miss today, but you can't miss 2 days in a row. Okay, so think about what kind of systems you want to put in place for yourself to be successful in the business. So one goal system that I'm putting in place for mine is that I hit Success Club 10 by the 15th of every month. Okay, that gives me the first half of the month to pour into my own personal business, second half of the month to really pour into my team and my coaches and mentoring the team. Okay, so if I can do that, what is it going to take for me to do that? Then you break it down. Okay, I need to talk to X number of people per week. I need to have this many conversations per week about coaching. I need to have a before and after transformation in, I try to do every 2 lines of my Instagram, but for whatever, you know, whatever yours looks like, you for sure want a before and after in every 9 photos in every grid. Whatever that looks like for you, break it down so that you know what your routine needs to look like around the vital behaviors in the business. Okay, so around inviting, what kind of routine do you need in place in order to be proof that the product works? What does your workout routine look like? What does your healthy eating routine look like? What do you need to do in order to follow that meal plan? Break down those routines. And a lot of times, you guys, I feel like when it comes to systems, I've been really guilty of this. I want to just know, okay, somebody give me like the hard number. What do I need to do? And I'll just do it. But I just need to know, like, do I need to send 10 invites? Do I need to send 20 invites? Give me the hard number. And then I feel like I can just go out and accomplish that thing. But here's the thing, you guys, think about when you're teaching your kids, or think about when you're teaching a kid to ride a bike. Okay, this will be an easy example. So we aren't going to tell them, okay, if you get on your bike and you pedal 36.2 times, then you're going to figure out how to ride without your training wheels. Or if you get on your bike and you practice for 3.25 hours, then you're going to get it. No, what do we say? We say keep practicing, just keep practicing and you'll figure it out. And that is what we have to do with our systems. You guys, most of you guys were in a pod that Andrea and I started this month, and the pods weren't playing out like we thought that they were. That was a system we put in place that we had a vision for. We thought it would be successful, and it wasn't the best system. So you don't keep doing systems that don't work. You have to pay attention and recognize what is working, what is not working, what do you need to tweak. And then you keep pressing forward and winning your week with the routines that are working for you. Okay. And that is what is going to take you from one level to the next, because just like the compound effect, if you haven't read that book, you guys, you have to read the compound effect. Little tiny things that we do in our day that seem so insignificant. If we do those little tiny things every single day or 6 days a week, if you miss that one day in the week, right, you're still winning your week. If you do those little tiny activities, You will be absolutely blown away and amazed at what you can do in your health and fitness journey, what you can do in this business, what you can do with whatever goal you have set out there. You're going to reach it and you're going to go beyond because you have the routines in place that are going to help you do that. So I want you to think about the actions versus the actual result. And this is something we talk about quite a bit, but I think this is a little bit different take or perspective on it. But we have to focus on those actions because sometimes the results they seem too far out of reach. But if you break it down into those little tiny baby steps, that's where we get where we want to go. So pick up that book if you haven't read it. I'm for sure I got it on Audible, so I will be listening to that. But for sure you want to read that before we go to Summit because he's going to be there with us. So that's going to be really awesome to hear from him. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts to share tonight? We're kind of a quiet crowd on Sunday nights, I think everybody's getting a little sleepy. How do you get engagement out of the accountability groups? So first and foremost, I think show up yourself every single day. You bring the energy. So if you haven't read The Energy Bus, get your hands on that book. You get to choose what kind of energy you're bringing to every single thing that you do, and that comes into your accountability group for sure. So if you're seeing slow energy, bring it in there. Start posting more about what you're eating. Start posting more about what you're loving about your workouts. Start asking people questions and giving them reasons to engage with your content in there. And keep recognizing your people, because the more that they feel encouraged and supported and recognized, the more that they're going to show up and be the ones engaging in the group. Good question, Erin.
I also think that sending private messages to reach out and be like, hey, haven't seen you pop in the group in a while. How's it going? Is everything okay? Just want to check in. That can kind of draw people back in and make them realize that they're not a number. I don't do this well. I need to work on this. But just that personal connection is usually enough for them to at least tell you, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's my grandma died and I've not been on social media, or I'm just, you'll at least hear the backstory of it. And then you can be like, okay, well, as soon as, you do that next workout, make sure you post in the group because I want to be able to support you. And it's the easiest way for me to know that you're being involved and I can support you and cheer you on. So definitely get involved.
I also want to say, you guys, that as a new coach, don't get discouraged by having small numbers, because you'll even hear Melanie Metro, who, if you're new and you don't know who Melanie Metro is, she was the top coach for 4 years in a row. And she talks about how when she started out as a coach, she had one person in her group. She still ran her group like she was selling out the stadium, like she was like the top coach that she is now. She was running her groups like a rock star, even when she had one other person in there. So you have to just show up like you got the whole crowd, like you are a top coach, and just do your thing. And don't focus on the small numbers. Your numbers are going to grow as you continue to grow as a coach. So don't let that discourage you. Yeah, going live in a group and talking about personal development, that is a great one too, Andrea. Anything else, you guys?
I just want to have just a personal connection to what I was talking about at the beginning. A lot of people will tell you no, and they will tell you no multiple times. And Alice, my dear sweet friend who's on the call tonight, said no to me when I reached out to her multiple times before, because she just wasn't in the right mindset and in the right place in her life to say yes. And you don't ever think like, oh, well, I must be a bad business builder or a bad coach, or if people tell me no. It, again, has nothing to do with me. And she just wasn't ready to join yet. But you keep reaching out, you keep loving on them, you keep showing up, because when they are ready, you want to have spread kindness on them the whole time. And instead of being like, oh, okay, bye. Like, graciously allow them to say no, because we only want people joining our groups that are ready to join our groups, and just keep loving on them. You know, like I'm going to keep loving on this girl that sent me this nasty message because I care about her as a human being. And I can't carry that ball and chain of negativity around with me, because that doesn't do me any good and it doesn't do her any good if I'm holding a grudge on something that she said, you know? So just keep spreading love. How do you decide when to invite someone again? It totally depends on the conversation and the person. So some people, I'll reach out like a month later and be like, hey, I know last month we talked and you had said that it was kind of a busy time with you and your kids and the sports that they were in. So just wondering if this month is better for you, or if maybe a different month down the road would be better for me to reach out and like ask them what month to reach out. Or sometimes if they ghost me, I'll be like, now seems like a really busy time. Maybe I'll reach out later and see if it's a better fit for you and your schedule. It just depends on where you left the conversation off, and if you feel like they'll be ready soon or if they need like a long time, and then you can put them on your list and like, you know, put them under your August follow-ups or something like that. Just have conversations with people, you guys. What types of posts get interaction other than sweaty selfies? I added another customer last week and we were talking about posting and she was very hesitant to post since there isn't much interaction. How do we get more? Need to do even better. Are you talking about on social media or within your accountability group, Katie?
Mostly within our accountability group.
Okay. So the building the community there, I think, is huge. So anytime you can do like ways for people to talk about themselves, because that's the easiest thing for people to talk about. So when you do a photo of the day challenge, that can spark some good conversation. Maybe it's not even photo of the day, but it's like a topic of the day where you share like, I don't know, a favorite childhood memory, or just coming up with 30 topics more conversation wise that have nothing to do with health and fitness. Just drawing like the real life personal things. That's where the community is going to come in, and that's where people are going to feel more connected with other people because they see they have something in common outside of being in that group together. Does that help? Okay. I think just bringing the energy is huge. Go ahead.
Okay, I just started talking and realized I was on mute. We have a post of the day, and I don't know if the topics aren't right for people. Do you have a list of topics that have worked for you that you can send out?
Yeah, I can put you aren't in our lifers, so we have a photo of the day right now this month, and I can post the cover photo on our team page so that you can grab that for ideas.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. These are awesome questions, you guys. No questions are dumb questions. Macy says, I'm having great success with the introduction to new followers that was suggested on the National Wake Up Call. That is so awesome. Tess is actually doing the same thing, and she is having incredible response rates as well. So I love that you guys are trying new things, and I love that you guys are just making it your own and knowing that there are so many positive ways to build this business, and you have to do what feels right for you inside. So I love that. Yes, and the whole implementing thing is huge. Like Elena said, taking what you learn and implementing is the only way you're going to grow your business. You can't just keep learning, and then not try it. So I love that you guys are doing that. Anything else? All right. Well, we will see you guys on the team page, and we'll see you next Sunday. We love seeing all your faces. It's so awesome. So hope you guys have a great week and go out there and take some action without caring what other people think of you, because you are all doing very important work. All right. We'll see you later.